What is going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Mediocre Vegan Kitchen. Today, we are going to show you how to make TVP burgers, which they're absolutely delicious, and also tell you the top vegan mistakes when it comes to cooking, so you don't end up like Leif right here, which, oh my lord. Would you like some extra salt with that tofu? They're not too bad.
I'm Leif Arneson, and this is my brother Anders. We're on a mission to help 1 million vegans get into the best shape of their lives. Steaks and grass are gross, so even though we can't cook, we made a cooking show to prove how simple and healthy vegan food can be. Welcome to the Mediocre Vegan Kitchen.
Sometimes I question myself as to why I live with this man.
All right, so I could use a little water. So we're gonna be making some TVP burgers. Step 1, place the water into a bowl and add the oregano, the basil. I'll do one at a time. So water in first.
We're just going to put a little bit of water at a time because it can get pretty soggy.
Okay.
This is one of my favorite
idea.
recipes.
Yeah, it's basically everything except ketchup and soy sauce. And
Well, list them off. Oregano what?
Oregano, basil, parsley flakes, onion, garlic powder or granules. We got mustard powder with the oats and TVP chunks. Yep. So this recipe calls for 3/4 cup water, almost boiling. So what Anders is doing is he's adding water slowly so it doesn't get really kind of runny. The mixture needs to be solid. It needs to hold together to make the burger patties. So that's exactly what you should do with kind of some other things like powdered peanut butter. We're actually using real peanut butter here, but you can use powdered peanut butter.
We're living it up a little bit.
You can use powdered peanut butter, which actually has a better, it's less calories because it's defatted. So they
You
take
like
out
the mug of life?
They take out most of the dietary fat.
That's spin image or what?
I think it's pretty close.
It's like the crimson chin.
Yeah, my chin doesn't look like that, but. All right, so then you're going to add the ketchup. That looks like exactly the kind of ketchup little thing that you'd get at like a fast food restaurant. So put that
Remember
in.
the paper ones at fast food restaurants?
All
Who
right.
needs fast food when these are fast meals?
It's also
All right, let's continue.
Put in the ketchup and the soy sauce, and then we're going to let it rest for 5 minutes so the
there we
TVP can
go.
soak up the flavors.
There, that's what I was.
That's like the 4th time I said it. Put in some soy sauce. So Anders has a really good consistency going here. It says 3/4 cup of water in the
I
recipe.
think that's the first time you've ever given me a compliment.
Most certainly not. It says 3/4 cup in the recipe, but I don't know if Anders quite used 3/4 cup of water, so you can just add a little bit as he was doing until it kind of reaches the right consistency. It should kind of, how would you describe the consistency?
It should be moist.
That's not the word.
You should be able to pact it down. It kind of just binds together. So when you add the flour and the peanut butter, all of it just forms together.
So then we're going to let it rest for a few minutes so the TVP can soak up the flavors, which is awesome.
Oh, is it?
All right, so what we did is we added a bunch of seasonings to this mixture, and it's really important that you understand how to season foods properly. So if you just have TVP by itself, it's not going to taste very good. The same thing goes for animal products. So we get a lot of jokes from omnivores saying that vegan food doesn't have any taste, or it doesn't taste good, or
bland.
something, or it's bland or whatever. Well, the same thing happens if you just have chicken by itself without any seasonings. The only reason that animal products taste good to some people is because they are adding plants, they're adding spices to actually make it taste good. So yeah, it's really important to know how to season these different foods, like tofu, like TVP, any of these other kind of meatier vegan products. You really need to be sure that you're seasoning them well, or they're not going to taste great.
It's a nice describing word, meteor.
Meteor?
Meteor. Yeah.
When did I say that?
You said.
Oh, meteor.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like space.
It's out of this world.
Well, that too. But yeah.
All right, while we wait 30 more seconds, we should do patty cake.
Patty cake?
You know that game?
You messed up. All right, that was just as stupid as I thought it was going to be. These TVP burgers are incredibly nutritious. They have lots of added micronutrients, which are vitamins and minerals, and they're also very high in protein. In fact, this recipe is 35% protein. So 35% of the calories in this mixture are coming from protein. It's really important to be sure that you are having a diverse array of different plant foods. That's what creates a really well-balanced meal. So you have a diverse array of different plant foods, and that gives you a diverse array of different micronutrients, which are your vitamins and minerals, also antioxidants.
A lot of array.
Yeah, and the reason this is so important is because our bodies do a lot for us. The least that we can do is fuel our bodies properly with the right amount of macronutrients.
Ho! Pow! Pow! Pow!
Macronutrients?
Pow!
All right.
Yes! The wheel of misfortune.
All right.
You have to do it really well. Just like whale it. Spinner. All right, it's pie. That was a good spin.
Wow.
Let's continue this recipe. All right.
All right. So
What's the next step?
the next step is to add the peanut butter, the nut or seed butter, and incorporate it into the recipe. So you just want to mix it well.
Right.
Again, you can use powdered peanut butter instead if you would like to make it a little bit better in terms of kind of a little bit healthier, if you want to lower the calories. Well, calories aren't necessarily unhealthy, but if your goal is like fat loss or something and you want to consume fewer calories, then it's a good idea to use something like powdered peanut butter.
Oh, that smells so good.
That does smell good. That looks pretty good. So now we're gonna add the last two ingredients. You're gonna add some of the nutritional yeast and the whole wheat pastry flour. So if you choose to eat gluten-free, you can actually just get a gluten-free flour. We're gonna make two different versions of this. We're gonna make one in a skillet and we're gonna make another one in an air fryer, and just give you kind of two different options for making those. So let's get that ready to roll. Gonna get the burner.
For this recipe, I like to really slowly incorporate all this stuff, just so it soaks it up and evenly coat every single piece so it sticks together. Here.
Wow, that's a nice way of separating it.
All right.
Cool.
So you'll see that it really binds well. You can juggle it. Catch. Oh, throw it back.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
All right, so just a few other things I want to touch on in terms of like spices and seasoning. So when I first went vegan, I really didn't know kind of what different spices to use, and I was just trying to like figure that stuff out. So I tend to keep it really simple. I love just using some black pepper and some salt on things. If you want more of a cheesy flavor, you can use some nutritional yeast. If you want more of like a kind of meatier, thinking about space again, more of like a meatier taste or something that's been done on the grill, then you can add a little bit of liquid smoke. Be sure that you're understanding how to season things correctly and cook it correctly, so you're not eating like a raw block of tofu and just feeling like tofu isn't your thing because you're not preparing it properly. Also, I think it's important to not rely too heavily when it comes to like really processed foods. So we generally recommend that you limit the amount of processed food that you're consuming to about 20% of your daily calories. It's perfectly fine to have something like a Beyond Meat burger or an Impossible burger or something like that.
Is that what it's called? Beyond Meat burger?
Beyond Meat products. Yeah, that's just, they have burgers. I think if you're vegan for ethical reasons, I salute you. I think that's awesome. You can consume whatever foods you want as long as you're not eating animals. That's really appreciated. But it is important to understand that generally speaking, the less processed the food that you're consuming, the healthier it is for you. You're making some pretty perfect patties over here.
That's why I wanted to talk about it. First off,
that's the second compliment I've ever given you.
Yeah, totally. This is how they should look. They should just like be able to stick together. And so how I like to make the patties, I just like push in my hand, and then you're going to have, I think, a mistake a lot of people make when they, especially our clients, when they like follow this recipe, is they leave it like that. But what you need to do is continue to press down and then push in on the sides, so it gets this rounded look of a patty. But then when you cook it, it doesn't crumble apart because it all binds together.
All right, so we're gonna make 4 of these burgers. We're gonna make 2 in the skillet and then 2 in the air fryer. I'm going to go get some oil, and then we'll talk a little bit about the types of oil that you should be using. All right, so I have some pure avocado oil here. So I just want to go over oil a little bit. Again, we don't generally recommend that you use too much oil. Using a little bit here and there is okay, but oil has 120 calories per tablespoon, which is not much oil at all. That's probably about the amount that we'll be using for both of these patties, which adds about another 60 calories to each one, which is quite a bit. So I would recommend using just a little bit of a spray of kind of some oil. One kind of important thing to keep in mind is the smoke point of the different oils that you're using. So avocado oil and grapeseed oil both have pretty high smoke points. Those are generally two that you should be kind of cooking with at higher temperatures. And basically what smoke point is, it's just the point at which the oil literally starts smoking. Once an oil exceeds its smoke point, it starts oxidizing and releasing harmful compounds in your body. So it's important that you don't cook with an oil that has a lower smoke point beyond the temperature at which it starts smoking. Another important thing to keep in mind is that even though coconut oil has a higher smoke point, it's not really a oil that you should be cooking with because it's really high in saturated fat. And whether you are consuming saturated fat from animal sources or plant sources, it will increase your cholesterol levels in your body, and your body makes all the cholesterol that it needs. That's why we're using avocado oil, and I think the pan's hot and ready to go, so we can throw some in. We got some sizzling TVP patties. So we're gonna do about, it says in the directions, about 5 to 8 minutes on each side or until golden brown. We're also going to do the same in the air fryer. Actually, we might not even need to flip it because the air will get underneath it, but we can test that out and then we'll let all of you know.
Yeah, we won't need to flip
So let's, what are you thinking, 350, 400?
this. Probably 375. Do that.
All right, so we're gonna get that cooking, and then we're gonna go through and also flip the patties after 5 to 8 minutes, and then we'll show you what it looks like.
All right, the patties are done. Highly recommend to have the heat a little bit lower. We did make it a little bit crispy, so it took about 3 minutes instead of 5 minutes on each side. Still going to taste delicious. The air fried ones are done. This is the first time I've ever done the TVP burgers air fried.
That might be the way to go.
It might be the way to go.
All
so
right.
we're going to build these sandwiches.
I will try one of the air fryer ones because I also have not had that. So let's do that.
Plop.
So we got some garlic hummus and some mustard on sourdough bread,
We're going to do that one.
which is great.
Right. So that is sandwich 1. Delicious. I'm going to put a little ketchup on mine.
Is that gonna mess it up? I'd put it on the bread probably.
Look at the ooze. You see the ooze?
Ooh.
Look at that.
I'm much more of a mustard person than ketchup person. Pretty good. So that's what it looks like.
Cheers. We're going to try it out.
Let's do it.
You didn't even get the patty.
No, I totally missed it. Mmm, bread and mustard. That's pretty great.
This recipe is phenomenal.
The air fried version is really good.
Super macro friendly, delicious. I mean, I'm going to feel very satiated with this. I would give this a 9.3.
If the bread were toasted, it would get 0.4 higher, but we're gonna go.
Just 0.4.
We're gonna go with an 8.7 on this one. Quite delicious. That's gonna be a wrap. I would highly recommend that you try out the TVP burger. I would recommend toasting the bread. Anders doesn't like toasted bread, but you can do whatever you want. You can also use gluten-free bread. You could also do this on just a bed of lettuce, which takes out the extra calories from the bread or bun. So that's another way of making it kind of more macro-friendly. So keep your TVP spiced, keep your mustard yellow, and don't settle for being mediocre.
Yeah. You want to take another bite?
I wasn't going to, but you challenged me, so. Ew. It's worse than you can imagine.